everybody, it's Danielle Nielsen here with the Nielsen Group at RE/MAX, and today I wanted to talk to you. I read a funny article the other day, and it was like 15 things that, like 15 crazy myths about real estate agents that people believe. So I read this and I kind of had to laugh. So I wanted to go through these and kind of give you like the real deal on them. The first one is real estate agents are paid a salary. As much as I would love this to be true, it is definitely not true. We are not paid a salary. We are 100% commission, and we are only paid when a transaction closes. So that's definitely not true. The next one is that we keep all of our commission. Definitely not true also. This is another myth. Our commissions are actually paid to our brokerage, and the broker takes their split, and they also reduce our commission by any fees that we owe, any office fees or transaction fees, and then we get what's left over. The next one is the typical commission is 6%. There is no typical commission. There's no standard commission. This is actually something that is determined and negotiable in your listing agreement. Just keep in mind you do get what you pay for. So, with the lower commissions, you are getting less service. And the next one is an agent's gas mileage and transportation are expenses that are reimbursed. Nope, they are not. We are not reimbursed for any expenses. And that kind of goes along in line with the next one, which are marketing expenses are not an agent's responsibility. They are 100% our responsibility, whether it is a mailing or flyers or postcards or business cards or, God, I can name 100 other things. They are all our responsibility. We get to pay them all. Next one is a home either pass or fails an inspection. No, that is definitely not the case. A home does not pass or fail. What a home inspection is for is to discover any issues for the potential buyer, so that they know everything that is going on with the house that they are purchasing. It sheds light on everything. The home inspectors go through with a fine-tooth comb, and they'll tell you, they'll give you a list of every issue in that house. In some contracts, it will give you the items that you need to negotiate with a seller for repairs. In other contracts, it will there are no repairs to be negotiated, but it gives you the opportunity to cancel the contract if you're not okay with what was found during the home inspection. The next one is inspectors have to find something. Nope. And I think that it's probably every realtor's wish that they would find absolutely zero with every house, but that's not really how it is, because they do a very thorough job. The next one is weekends bring out the most serious buyers. Let me just tell you, I think HGTV kind of ruined it for a lot of people, because there are people out there that their hobby is looking at houses and going to open houses. So I think that a lot of times these people that do have this as a hobby, which I don't understand why they would definitely not be my hobby to go open house hopping, but they're going to be out more during their off hours, which would be the weekend. The next one is Zillow says, therefore it is. Oh my goodness, Zillow is the devil. Zillow is not a real estate brokerage. They are not a real estate company. They are like a data company. They take our listings and they put the information on their website and then basically market us back the leads that come from our listings. I can't even count how many times I've heard, oh, but Zillow says my house is worth, or Zillow said this house is worth, with their estimates. Their estimates are horrible. They can be a couple $1,000s off, but they could be a couple $100,000 off. They are very inaccurate. Best way to find out what a house is worth is talk to a real estate agent in that area that knows the market very well. It is better to price a house on the high side, as the seller can always come down. This is probably the worst pricing strategy. It is better to price a house exactly where it should be priced. Buyers are very savvy. They can go and look up what your neighbor's house sold for. They're going to know, that your house is $50,000 overpriced, and they're not even going to bother looking at it because they're going to consider you an unrealistic seller. And a lot of times I'll have a seller say, well, a buyer will just bring me an offer. No, they won't. They won't even tour your house. So they're definitely not going to bring you an offer if they think you're unrealistic. Next one is, when making an offer, you need to start with a low offer. No. This is a horrible strategy for buying a property. A lot of times if you come in too low, the sellers don't even want to deal with you anymore. They are going to reject your offer. They're going to say offer rejected, and they're not even going to counter you because they are just so frustrated and disgusted with you, and they're not going to want to deal with you anymore. Next one is, the longer a house is on the market, the more negotiable the deal. No, that is definitely not the case. In some instances, sellers have mortgages that they need to pay off, and they can't sway from, what they're asking. Sometimes, if the house is a higher end home, it takes a little bit longer for the house to sell because there's a smaller buyer pool. So here in the Tampa Bay area, our average house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. It's usually selling for about $250,000. When you double that and you go into like a higher end market, for a home that's $500,000 or above, or even $400,000 or above, it takes a little bit longer for that house to sell. So that's definitely not necessarily the deal. Next one is, multiple price reductions mean the seller is desperate. No, that necessarily is not true. A lot of times, if we go back to pricing your house too high and hoping that you get an offer, sometimes that's the case where a seller had originally priced the house too high, and now they're becoming more realistic and seeing that, they're not getting the showings, and they're not getting the offers, so they start reducing the price. And sometimes it's hard for them to just say, okay, reduce it that $25,000, because they'll rather do it in smaller increments, hoping that they'll get that higher offer. And the last one is, next one is, multiple offers give the seller an advantage. No, it definitely doesn't. When you have multiple offers, you'll have some buyers that will find out that there's other offers on a property, and they will not offer, or they will withdraw their offer. They do not want the competition, especially if they've been in the situation where they've had competition with another house and lost out. They will walk away from the house. You also have those buyers that are extremely competitive, and they will raise their offer to get the contract, and then they end up within their inspection period walking away from the deal because they're thinking, what was I, crazy? I was going to overpay for that house. So I've seen both ends of the spectrum with that. It's definitely, it's definitely not always an advantage for a buyer, or for a seller to have multiple offers on their house. And the last one is, all agents are the same. Let me tell you, that is definitely not true. An agent, we don't have like a school for real estate agents that we all go and we learn to be like robots and we learn the same exact thing. A lot of us put a lot of money into the knowledge that we have with training, and there's some that don't. They put the minimum in, which is our continuing education training. There's some of us that sell more homes than others, and we gain experience with every home we sell. And then there could be an agent that's selling 50 homes a year and an agent that's selling 5 homes a year. And of course, that agent that's selling 50 homes has more experience, more skill, and more knowledge in the market. So, even the time that we've been licensed, it's kind of like a running joke with us realtors when you have an agent that says, well, I've been selling houses for 30 years, but then you go and you look up their production and they've been selling, 2 houses a year for the past 30 years. So technically their experience is equivalent to about 1 year of, a higher producing agent. So you really don't want to look at like those things. You want to look at an agent's production, what they sold this year, how many homes they sold, what the dollar amount of the homes were. That kind of differentiates us. Also, our marketing is all different because we do pay our own marketing expenses. We pretty much market all differently. You know, some people don't use professional photography. I always do. Some people don't have a website set up for their listings. I always do. So, you know, I'm definitely different than, you know, an agent that doesn't. So anyway, if you have any questions about the Tampa Bay real estate market, don't be afraid to give me a call at 727-946-6428. You can also message me on Facebook, and you can also email me if you'd like at Danielle@NielsenGroupRealty.com. That's DANIELLE@NIELSONGROUPREALTY.com. Have a great evening.